Welcome to the Robert C. Williams Museum of Papermaking. My name is Anna and I'm the education curator for the museum. And today I will be making paper cupcakes. We're going to be making cupcakes today in honor of the museum's birthday. The museum had its opening tea on June 5th in 1939 at MIT with 500 to 600 people that attended. So happy birthday to the museum. And the museum since moved locations to Appleton, Wisconsin, and then to Atlanta, and eventually became a part of Georgia Tech in 2003. Some of the materials that you're going to need today are a pencil, scissors, tape, and a glue stick. Paper-wise, you're going to need a piece of paper that is 4 inches by 8 inches for the candle, and this is just regular computer paper. And I have just a little piece of yellow tissue paper that's going to be for my flame. I have an 8 by 8 square that I'm going to use to cover my cupcake. I have a piece that is 10 by 25 inches that's going to be the fluff for the inside of my cupcake. I have 2 pieces of tissue paper that are 5 by 20 inches. You can use 2 different colors, you can use the same color. I'm going to use 2 so that I can get that nice swirl that you see happening with this cupcake here, but like I said, you can use whatever colors you would like. And of course, you don't want to forget the cupcake base. I have a few different ones in here because I feel like when you use more than one, it gives your cupcake bottom a little bit more support as you're building it. There are some cupcake bases that you can buy, that you can just buy in the little cupcake holder itself, that are paper. They're a little bit more sturdy and you don't even need a muffin tin for those. Those might be a good option as well. If not, use a couple, and once your cupcake is built, then you can just use 1 or 2 instead. All right, I'm going to start today by rolling this piece of paper around my pencil. And when I do, I'm going to curl it around the pencil first, and then I'm going to glue the edge here and then wrap it around again, making sure I really tightly wrap it around. If you roll it a little crooked, you can tap it down. And I'm going to unroll it now and add some glue to the far edge. And I'm going to re-wrap it around, being careful that I roll it straight. All right, once I've got it secured well to the gluey side, I can remove the pencil. And then I want to cut the base in 4 sections. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll show you what that looks like. I want to cut it in 4 sections so that I can use that as a support to glue to the bottom of my cupcake container. And I'm going to cut a little over 1/4 of an inch down. If your candle is a little bit taller than 4 inches, you can cut a little bit further. Now I'm just going to cut along my lines and flatten those sections out so that I'll have a nice base for my candle to sit on, because this candle is really going to be the structural support inside my cupcake. Now I'm going to take the largest sheet of tissue paper, or the one that's 10 by 25. I'm going to smush it down a little bit and then wrap it around my candle from the middle to the bottom and get a nice kind of round ball shape. I'm going to secure the tissue paper with tape. Begin wrapping around, careful not to grab those as I'm wrapping. All right. So now that I've got a round shape, it doesn't have to be fancy. It can be a little bit messy. You do want it to be kind of even, so you can kind of adjust it if you feel like it's not. And I'm going to go ahead and tape that down. All right. Can kind of shape it a little bit more after I've secured it if I want it. So there is my sphere. Next, I'm going to take my 8x8 sheet and I fold it diagonally. And diagonally, so diagonal and diagonal, so I can fold it over. And this just gets me to the center of my square. The creases really aren't going to be noticeable later. I'm going to cut the very edge off so that it makes a hole where I can put the candle through. And I'm going to use it to smoothly wrap the paper over the top, and all the extra on the bottom I'm just going to kind of twist around. So that it's still nice and smooth on the top. All right, so I'm going to tape that down. Now that I've got my nice smooth little top, I'm going to go ahead and test it inside my cupcake base to make sure that it fits. So here are my cupcake tins, and it's a little smaller, but that'll be just fine. I can always smash it down a little bit if I want it to be a little bit fatter. But since we're going to put the swirl on top, it's fine if it's just a tad bit smaller. I'm not going to glue the cupcake base down yet because I'm going to be adding the swirl next, but I'm going to kind of slide this to the side. And now I'm going to take the 2 sheets of colored tissue paper here that are 5x20, and I'm going to go ahead and start smishing them down kind of the way I did the middle, and then give it a little bit of a twist. I don't want to twist it really tight, just give it a little bit of twist and compression so that it's ready to go. I'm going to tape the 2 colors together. And then go ahead and twist those colors together. And if it comes undone, we can retwist it as we wrap around the cupcake. This just kind of gives the paper a little bit of twist and a little bit of memory to get me started. So as you can tell, I already have a nice kind of mix of the green and blue, but you can twist it how you like so that more blue is visible or more of whatever 2 colors that you're using. You can play with that mix. So now I'm going to take the tape and I am going to secure my icing here to the candle a little bit above the base so that I can get some kind of nice height happening here with the icing. And then I'm going to kind of just twist it as I wrap it around. You don't want to make it super tight, but you don't want to make it super loose either. You can play with twisting it a couple times before you secure it down till you get the right twist pattern that you like and the right size and shape and all that. Alright, so I've got a nice swirl happening here. So to make sure it's the right size for my cupcake container, I'm just going to set it back in and kind of take a look at it. It's looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and secure that down with tape. That looks good. I can kind of adjust it a little bit if I like to make sure it sits the way I want it to. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue the bottom here into my cupcake container. And I want to add a lot of glue so that it stays well. Center it the best I can. Make sure my candle is nice and straight. And really kind of press down, make sure it's attached well. All right, so there is most of my little cupcake, and all I need left is a little bit of a flame to come out of the top of my candle. So I'm going to set my cupcake aside, and I'm going to work on adding the flame. So I'm going to take a little sheet of tissue paper, and I'm just going to fold it over a few times, and you can fold it as much or as little as you want. By creating these multiple folds in the paper, I'm trying to create the impression that there is a little bit of a flickering flame here. All right, so to guide me as I'm working, I am going to draw my flame on my paper. You don't need to draw it if you don't want to. So I've got a bit of a line, a curve coming up, curve coming down, line of cross. You can make your flame any shape you want. If you want it to have a little bit more of a curve, that's fine too. And then the folded paper is on the sides here, and that's going to allow it to stay together nicely. And I'm just going to cut that out. So now I'm going to add some glue to this area, and then roll up that tissue and just stick it inside my candle. I'm going to roll it up and keep it fairly tight because I have a lot of layers of tissue paper there, and I want it to fit inside. So I'm just going to slide my candle flame in. Now you'll notice I have my little flame at the top and my cupcake base. And that is it for making the structure of the cupcake. And I can create a whole little box of cupcakes if I'd like. Now, if I wanted to make this cute little cupcake box, it's really just quite simple. Pull my cupcakes aside here. So you'll notice that this is really just a simple paper gift box. You can use a variety of sizes, really whatever you have around, so long as it fits at least one of your cupcakes. And then I just cut out a hole in the top lid of my box here, and then glued a piece of clear plastic that's a little bit larger than the size of my hole underneath to create that look of a little bakery box that's clear. Now this is actually clear Mylar that we had left over from making book jackets in our conservation area. But you can use plastic wrap, you can use any sort of plastic covering that comes on packaging. You could even use a clear Ziploc bag if you wanted. Pretty much anything that's clear or translucent that allows you to see through it can be used for your box. And then you have your little box of cute cupcakes.